The University of Oregon is located in Eugene, a city of 80,000 people, situated in the lush Willamette River Valley. Midway between Cascade Mountains and the Pacific Ocean.
Touchdown! Jonathan Stewart! Yeah, I got your speed right here!
Hey, ball corner 10, outside 5. Are you kidding me?
I'm really proud of where this team's at. We got a lot of work to do.
What's the deal, Duck family? I am Kenjon Boyett alongside my boy Jay Stu, and we want to welcome you to another episode of the Ducks Have a Feather podcast. We got a great show in store for you guys, another great episode. We're going to dive into this past weekend's game versus Illinois, the outcome of that and what all took place. But before we get to that, let's jump into this little cameo that one of us had on Ducks versus them.
Yeah, let's get into this cameo.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all for coming out. On to the next.
Who that is? Who that? Yeah, I'm with Leonardo right there,
Listen,
man.
call
Who
that-
is that cat? I know that cat.
You know him?
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Congratulations to Kenjon Boyett, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of applause.
Appreciate you.
3,623 yards rushing, 6.2 yards per carry average, 41 touchdowns, 591 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns receiving. This boy was all over the place.
Thank you, man.
Look, Hall of Fame 2024 inductee. Man, how was it? Let's talk about it, man. Was it special?
Man, it was more than special. The word special doesn't even do it justice. And I when Rob called me months ago and told me I was going in, I broke down and cried. And I wasn't crying for myself, but it was for my family. And that's what made this weekend so special, was to have my family who sacrificed and who poured into me and who gave, and my mom and dad who went into debt I didn't even know that they were going into, to make sure that I always had somebody at a game. The acknowledgement and the honor is mine, but this was for my family. This is everything that they did for me. This is for them to know that nothing was done in vain, that it all paid off, that it was all worth it. The travel, the money spent, the tears, the pain, the ups and downs. This was for my family. Like, again, the acknowledgement is mine, but for me, this was about my family. And that's all it was about. And that's all it will ever be about for me, is my family, because I know everything that my family has done for me to get to the place and get to that weekend. So it was so special. It was an honor. It was a blessing. Just, man, I'm about to get emotional. My family's everything, and that, we've come up together and had conversations. So how important my family is.
Yeah.
It was just an honor, man. It was a blessing. It was one of the biggest blessings, because you don't go through college thinking I'm trying to make the Hall of Fame. I'm trying to pull out. I never had that thought. That was never something that crossed my mind. That was never something that I thought of. I never thought about the Hall of Fame ever.
You thinking about how am I going to stay healthy to help my team win?
Yeah.
And run all over these boys.
Yeah, I just want to play ball. I just want to ball. I just want to go out there, have a good time. I want to put on for the fans. I want to put on for my family. And I just want to be successful. And so it was an absolute amazing weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, me and my mom, my dad, my youngest boy, we drove back to California. So it was time well spent and just memories, man. Went down memory lane, having my family there, us going to eat. We went to Johnny Ocean's. Shout out to Sean.
Okay.
That was our spot when I was in college. We would always go there after games. So it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Did you go to Doco?
1,000%.
Okay, I'm just making sure, man. Don't switch up on me.
Listen, there's a couple of stops that are mandatory on every Eugene trip. Doco, Hawaiian time.
Yep.
And Johnny Ocean.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, mandatory.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago when the Ohio State game was going, I had the privilege and honor to have Doco with Kenjon, and it was a special moment, man.
We sat in that car for how long? eating them batch of sugar cookies and that steak bomb. Okay,
man, just sitting there, just like enjoying it.
Yeah, sitting and talking.
But I could tell you this, Doco, Them joints is expensive.
You got the
Okay.
listen. They getting NIL money up there now. They could raise their prices. Okay.
Back in the day, was not that thing was affordable back in the day.
You saying it's
That is-
unaffordable?
Yeah, now it's like, hey, you got to have some money. This is
Listen.
NIL only.
Well, listen, they must have money because Doko was packed. Okay, when we went in that thing, it was packed.
Got me a Doko calzone and a couple of grape sodas.
Yeah, did that thing. Did it the right way. So
Yeah,
shout out
man.
to Doko, man. But let's jump into this game. Ducks sitting at 8-0 now. Huge win over Illinois, 38-9. Dylan Gabriel threw for 291 yards, 4 total touchdowns. Dominant first half. By halftime, we had kind of talked about this a little bit. The game was 35-3, pretty much over.
Mhm.
We'll get to Noah having a day. Defense, just a great win. So tell me what you thought about the game.
Great win, for sure. Just continuing to come out and just smack guys in the face, man.
Mhm.
Just punch them in the mouth, right?
Mhm.
Dylan Gabriel, this was a special game for him. Just being able to go in and knowing that he's facing an inferior opponent,
Mhm.
and still just be able to just keep his wits about him and just make plays. I mean, 4 touchdowns, 291 yards.
Yeah.
Like, my man did everything that he was supposed to do that day. The dominant first half, that's exactly what we wanted to have. We wanted to see them go out and start fast and just put points on the board because that's what you're allowed to, that's what you're supposed to do. Defense was in that backfield like nothing else. Man,
Boy,
they had that quarterback rattled.
Long day.
As far as the defense, creating turnovers, there's still a turnover that should have happened that refs missed again. I think the Big Ten referees, they out to get us. They sending messages.
They sending messages,
And so-
subliminals.
Yeah, they like, hey, yeah, you might be really good and you might win these games, but we gonna try our darndest to make sure that y'all sit in that back seat.
Yeah.
But no, I think it was a good game, physical game. I love how physical we were, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Kenyon Sadiq continuing to show up. In
Can we stop right
huge
there
ways.
for a second?
Yeah,
I was having a conversation with Dino Philly on the sideline, and I
Mhm.
said, "What do you do when T. Ferg comes back? What do you do?
double tight end set.
You have
Double
to,
tight
right?
end, run
You
the
have
ball.
to. You
can
have
run,
to.
and you can start running the ball at will.
Yeah.
Because now, if one of those guys just takes a step out, like he's running a route, that's one guy out of the box.
He adds a different dynamic to the offense. Kenjon does.
Yes.
He's so versatile at that tight end spot. And we all know what T. Ferg is. T. Ferg is a phenomenal player, but I feel like you have to figure out a way. You have to. We got to go 21.
Yeah.
Got to go 21.
Gotta go 21 personnel. I love 21 personnel.
Yeah. I feel like you have to figure out a way to get. I'm a kid. I just like the name. Okay, you got to get Kenjon on the field. Okay, you
Kenyon.
got to get Kenjon on the
another
field.
one.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
see, you was a Kenyon like a Kenjon. He's a Kenyon like a Kenyon.
But it's a Kenjon at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right?
love it, man.
Yeah,
And whenever you have a guy named Kenyon, he's gonna be special.
say it again, Stu. Say it a little louder for the people in the back.
Whenever you have a Kenyon, that boy gonna be special.
Yeah.
So if you pregnant right now and you trying to figure out what you gonna name your son, your little kid, name him Kenyon because he gonna be special.
Listen, if you've named your child after me from my Oregon days, let me know. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about, man. These guys are, as a team, they don't want to talk about the number one ranking, but they're operating like a number one team should operate. They're taking care of the teams that they should take care of, but not only are they taking care of them, they're dominating them. They're finishing them.
Yes.
They're putting them in a hole early. They're making these games hard for a team to fight back and come back in. I am extremely happy with where this team is. I love the mindset of this team. I love that the mindset of Dan Lanning, DTM, is echoed throughout this entire team from top to bottom. And they're in a great spot. We've said this multiple times, but they're continually to trend in the right direction. But not only are they trending, Stu, they're still. We talked about it, that roller coaster. They haven't peaked.
They have not
They
peaked.
haven't peaked, and that's
Not
scary.
even touched it.
Let's talk about Noah Whittington.
Mhm. Yeah.
Boom.
No, Whittington.
Oof.
Pow! Pow!
What Skip say?
Pow! Pow!
Listen, it don't look
Do it again.
real. It don't look real. It when I seen this on the field, Stu, it
Pow!
looks
Pow!
it's incredible.
It's like Buddy had to know that it was over.
No, I don't think he did.
Like,
I don't think he did
I
because he
think
came in
is
there.
his number 10?
10.
That's his problem. He shouldn't be wearing number 10 to begin with. That 0 is like a target, you know?
Listen,
It's like, oh yeah, this guy.
10s at Alton, they don't have a good time there. You go back to when we played Oregon State in 2009 when Jeremiah Masoli just took that boy. So he wore number 10 and was baptized in the same way. He was baptized by the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit.
And the Holy Spirit.
Okay. The Trinity was upon him. And the Trinity was
yes.
upon this young man right here. He had a rebirth. Okay. He was
Yes.
reborn. Look at that. Look
I'm
at
gonna
his
tell you
body.
this.
Look at his body.
Yeah, he's reborn, all right. He ain't ever coming up to tackle nobody like that ever again.
Listen, my boy was in it.
He took a seat. Watch. Oh, let me just sit down on the seat.
My boy started doing a V up. He started doing a V up, okay?
Oh, core strength.
Listen.
Oh. Nope. What was number 22 thinking? I want to know what 22 was going.
He said, damn.
22 was over there.
Look at him. Look. You see how he jumped to the side?
What you doing? You okay?
Damn.
You okay?
Look. Oh,
You okay?
whoa. Hold on now.
How'd you let him do that to you?
No, Stu, it didn't look real. It looked like there was a force field in front of Noah. It did.
Yeah.
It looked so awkward and so crazy on the field. Me and Dino looked at each other like, what was that? There was no sound to it, Stu. It was quiet. It was one of the hardest hits that you feel as a player are them hits that don't make no noise. There's no pads, there's no helmet. It's just firm. It's just
it was just part of the environment.
Yeah, man. So shout out to Noah. Listen, I was happy. I'm liking that he's getting an opportunity to find his groove. And we said this last episode. We're going to need more out of him, out of that number 2 spot.
Yep.
Jordan James is doing his thing, running that rock, being physical, being aggressive, producing, and we're going to need something out of that number 2 spot. And we're seeing again Noah trending in the right direction to where that 1-2 punch will be as dominant and as scary as we think it can be. So shout out to Noah.
Yeah.
Having a day.
I honestly think guys like Noah is a key component to us finding a way to have complete games. And, you talk about peaking. He's a key component to that.
Yeah.
Guys like him, guys like Kenjon Sadiq stepping up and just being able to step in and have these moments where you get an opportunity to shine and prove to yourself and have that confidence for any moment in time down the road throughout the season.
That boy Noah
when these guys' numbers are called.
I keep watching this replay. That boy turned that boy into a breakdancer.
That boy breakdancer?
I'm sorry. The whole time you talking, I'm watching this replay. Boy, it's a ripple effect. Look at his hamstrings. You see?
Yeah. You know what he looked like? He looked like one of them fainting goats.
Boy, listen. Game over. Game over.
You know when you spook a fainting goat?
Yeah, absolutely.
They just freeze and they just fall over. That's exactly what this looks like.
Yeah, this was bad.
Bad. Bad.
Let's check out what DG had to say about Noah running through and baptizing that boy in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit.
It kind of sets the tone for everyone as well. You see a guy like Noah run like that or be extremely physical at the point of attack, makes you want to do the same. So he's just instilling that confidence in everyone and mentality to, when you get the ball in your hands, to be physical.
And I couldn't agree any more with that statement. As an offense, physicality starts up front and it starts in a run game. And when you have a back like Jordan James, when you have a back that's emerging like Noah Whittington, and they're both running physically, both being dominant, both being forces, you can't help but energize your team. These are our identity runs.
So Kenjon, you played DB at one point in your life.
Yeah.
If you are Michigan watching the film,
yeah,
and you play DB, and you are in that meeting room, what's being told and what's being talked about watching that film?
Listen, you better bring your pads with you. Don't come up here half stepping, because number 6 and number 20 ain't gonna half step with you. They're gonna embarrass you in front of your girlfriend. They're gonna embarrass you in front of your mama, your daddy. Listen, you're gonna have to change your last name. Don't get out on this field and get put on somebody's highlight tape, because these boys are not going to play with you. If you come in here flat-footed, come in here not being explosive, they're gonna run through you.
Yeah.
Point blank. Period. You better bring it with you. You better bring something with you. I was able to see Michigan play against Washington. Their DBs are not that physical. I seen it up close and personal. They're not that physical. So understanding, first as a player, you understand who you are. You know your limitations. You know what you can and you know what you can't do. So based on what I've seen from watching that game, being up close and personal, it's doubt in them boys' mind right now.
Oh yeah,
it's doubt in them boys.
A lot of doubt.
Absolutely. It's like, ooh, I hope y'all don't let him get in the open field.
Hey, defensive line, do your job.
Do your job. Stop them from getting to this second level, because I already don't want to tackle. And these boys don't want to avoid contact. So
they are inviting. Yeah. Hey, look, where's the first class ticket to contact? Yeah, I want that one. Yeah. First seat.
Yeah.
1A.
Yeah. So they as a defender who's not physical, as a defender who just wants to cover, as a defender who wants to be, backpedaling, whipping their hips around and running with a receiver, that's not something you want to see on film. You don't want to see the two guys running at you with evil intent. Two guys that don't care about your mama, don't care about your kids if you got kids, don't care about your grandmama, don't care about your well-being. That's not something you want to see, and these guys don't care. JB, what's the deal, man? I'm glad to have you on, glad to have you here. We got a lot to catch up on, a lot to talk about. Been a while. You look good. I see you fresh to death. How you doing, man?
Things are good, man. Thankful to get a call from you the other day and hop on here with you and the famous Jay Stu and catch up.
For those that don't know, me and JB came together in the class of 08. In my opinion, one of the best classes to come through that thing, okay?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, let's jump into it, man. How's life? What's going on with you?
Life's great, man. Just taking a little bit at a time, trying to enjoy and maximize everything. Living down in Los Angeles in Westlake Village with my wife, and have a 3-year-old son, almost 3. So he's keeping me busy. And I'm in the investment world, helping leading the team and helping people buy and sell real estate investments. So definitely have the water up to my eyeballs, trying to balance it all and keep putting my work boots on every morning.
Westlake Village. I used to train out there at a Proactive. Is that still there?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah. Great job. Yeah. Been there a few times. Not now, as you can tell, but back in the heyday.
Boy, you still look good, okay?
You've been eating. But you still look good, though, man. Look. There's still those features. I see them shoulders. Don't nobody want to touch them shoulders.
My shoulders haven't gotten smaller, but my belly keeps getting bigger.
Other places other ways,
I hear you. Yeah, what advice would you give, a current guy? You seem to have had your head on straight, and obviously having the backbone of your family into that space of real estate. Tell us kind of what your mindset was in that transition and what kind of advice you would give.
I think it's find something that you have passion for. Whether it's something that can make you money or not. Some people may finish up their playing career where they don't need to make money. They just need to preserve their wealth and let it grow for them. But find something you have passion for, and use the same things that you learned throughout your athletic career that made you successful. And that's what I've done. Hard work, dedication, trying to find an edge, trying to find an advantage in what I'm doing, and try to surround yourself with good people, really. Because if you love what you do and you want to do it, if you use the same skill sets that we all used to be successful as an athlete, you can be successful at anything. And that would be my biggest advice.
That's an amazing piece of advice.
It's not about what you make in 1 year. It's about what you make over 30 years.
Before we dive into the actual what's going on with the Ducks and all that, because we definitely want to get your opinion on this year's squad and what you think about the defense and all of that good stuff. But I want to kind of dive into you because you have a story. I mean, you talked about this prior to coming on here. You have a story, you have a testimony that can help, that can guide, that can direct younger players that are coming up, that are trying to get to this next level in this football thing, reach the NFL and sustain a career. So I kind of want to dive into that a little bit, and I want to talk about, we can talk about the positives all day. I heard working with the negatives can make a better pitcher. And so I kind of want to work with the negative a little bit, which eventually turned into a positive for you. Early in your career, when we entered the league, you came across some troubles. While when you're with the Colts and with the Broncos, talk me a little bit through that, JP. I wanna kind of know where your mindset, what your mind state was, where you were emotionally, like, because everybody can look at the end result, but I want people to kind of understand where you were in your life and what was going on during these times that kind of led to these decisions.
Yeah, I like what you said. I think looking yourself in the mirror and seeing the butt ugly honesty is important, because if you're not really looking in and diving deep into a situation or to what's going on, how can you improve and get better from it? It's no different than when you play a football game, right? You regroup and you watch the film and you figure out what went well, what didn't go well, and how you can get better from it. And that's life right there. That's life from a day to day, from a year to year basis. I faced some obstacles and some trials and tribulations, and I went through a tough couple of years where I was 20 years old and faced some adversity where I lost my sister, I lost my uncle, and who was like a second dad to me, and I lost my grandma all within about a year or so span. And so for my dad, it was his mom, his brother, best friend, and his daughter. So it was a tough couple of years span. And I'm 20 years old at the time, and I'm a competitive son of a gun, and you think that you're invincible, or you think that you should be able to handle these different types of adversities that get thrown your way. But in reality, no matter if you're 20 or no matter if you're 40, you need support, and you don't know it all. I didn't know it all, and I still don't know it all today. And so during a couple year stretch there, at times I would find myself perhaps using or drinking too much at times to cope with what was going on. That was my outlet. My outlet was football, and I was also going through a bunch of knee injuries at that time, and I didn't have that outlet, right? Football was my outlet. I go to the gym, I work out, I run at night, whatever it was. I didn't have that, and at times I started to drink to cope with those different things that were going on in my life that I didn't have the skills at that time to address and work through, and put myself in situations where I made bad decisions. It wasn't every time that I drank did I make a bad decision, but let's call it 1 in 10 or 1 in 20 times I went out and did something stupid. And eventually I had to pay the price. You know that old saying, what happens in the dark eventually will come to light. And I made some mistakes that I had to pay a serious consequence for, and ultimately got released. And between that and the injuries, that costed at least me the opportunity to see what could have, would have, should have been in the NFL, and that's something I have to live with. But ultimately, I had to look myself in the mirror. I was 28 at the time, right? I was about 28 at this time, and I made a decision. Ultimately, when I was looking myself in the mirror, I had to see the butt ugly, honest truth, which was at times alcohol doesn't mix well with me, right? So I had to quit drinking. It's been over 10 years now, and it was one of the better decisions that I've ever made, because it's made me a better. Ultimately, I had to take a step back and look myself in the mirror and say, what do I really want in life? And it's to be a great son, to be a great brother, friend, husband, father, and mentor towards my kids and others. And so it's allowed me to become a better person. And I'm so grateful for those different obstacles that took place in my life, because I learned a lot about not just myself, but a lot about the people that I am surrounded with and want to continue to surround myself with is positive people that are chasing something bigger than yourself. And sometimes you have to make those mistakes in order to grow and become a better person for it.
You mentioned coping, and we had a conversation a few weeks back about football as our ability to compartmentalize in an unhealthy way, and how life I accredit it to football, but as we sat and myself, Jay, Stu, Ryan, and Adam, and G, we had this long conversation. I looked back on my life and I came to the conclusion that I had been compartmentalizing long before I knew what compartmentalizing was. It wasn't football that taught me. It was my upbringing. It was the experiences. It was the traumas that I experienced as a child. So when you mentioned coping and how did you heal? What did you do after all of this took place? After you went through these troubles, after you went through these trials and tribulations, and then losing the opportunity in the NFL, how did you heal from that? What things did you do? What things were in place? Who did you talk to that kind of helped you work through this process?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's taking a step back from everything and looking yourself in the mirror and being honest with yourself and being able to admit to yourself that you're not good enough. I wasn't good enough. At the end of the day, I wasn't good enough. And I had to figure out why those mistakes were taking place. And the common denominator was I had a whole bunch of things going on in my life that were causing discomfort. And sometimes when I drank, those little bonfires came together and would erupt, right? And so I had to look myself in the mirror and realize that at the end of the day, I'm not good enough, and had to make the changes necessary to become who I wanted to be. And for me, it was simple. I just don't drink. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm the type of guy that likes to push the line, push the bubble, and so that's a competitor. I'm a competitor, right? And it's no different than what you just said. Compartmentalize, right? We as athletes, if you give me a task, I'm going to find a way to win. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find an advantage. I'm going to find a way to win, and sometimes that can actually work towards work against us and be at our detriment, right? And so it's about life. It's about learning, growing, and improving yourself as an individual. And like I said, I compare it to athletics. It's no different than when you lose or when you win a football game, you go back and you study the film and try to become better from it.
When I got drafted, obviously I started watching you guys playing. Kenjon, you might be onto something as far as the draft class of 2008. Or not draft class, but recruiting class, 2008. Y'all was talented. And I loved seeing how you played at that safety position, bro. You came down every time, just reminded me of TJ Ward. Mm-hmm. He was a guy that just always had it in his mind to tear somebody's head off. And I couldn't stand it in practice. So my question is, did you ever pop Kenjon in practice?
Almost made me curse. Hell no.
All the time.
Hell no. And don't you get on here. Don't you get on here and lie neither, JB.
The truth is, Kenjon and LaMichael, they were like, the pretty boy with red jersey.
They had a red jersey on.
They had red jersey.
Listen, a lie don't care who tell it, as long as it gets told. People remember that a lie don't care who tell it.
It was probably a good thing. It was probably a good thing they had red jerseys on, because guys like myself or Kiko or Dion or all Eddie P or all the guys, we probably would have came down and thumped them once or twice just to remind them.
I like philosophers, and one of the coldest ever, Muhammad Ali said, "Your hands can't hit, but your eyes can't see." And y'all didn't stand a chance. I don't care. You can sit on here and talk about a red jersey. The only time we was in a red jersey if we was really hurt. So this is nonsense that's being spoken on this here podcast, okay? A whole lot of lies been told, okay?
Did Kenjon ever make you look crazy in practice, all backwards and like you had 2 broken ankles?
Never once. But I'll tell you, I do remember one play. I remember really vividly. This is vividly. We were on the grass turf outside the grass fields, and I forget, we were running the even Sarah defense, so which is quarters. And so I came up and filled the hole, and they ran some read option or whatever, and I came up, filled it, and again, he had his red jersey on, so I didn't get close to him. Kenjon takes off around the sideline like he outran me. And as there's 15 NFL scouts on the sideline, he looked back at me and gave me the peace sign and the thumbs up. And I'm standing, really? Just 2 yards in the backfield, KB. Now, the memories like that are what makes it special. It's coming in with a group of guys that you develop a lot of love and passion and trust for and all that. You pour your blood, sweat, and tears into a program or into a couple year span of your life. And those are just bonds that, when KB calls me or one of my teammates call me, it just lights me up, and thinking back, a lot of us looked up to guys like you,
Yeah.
guys like TJ, Pat Chung, Jay Bird, and so it's about, guys like Titus Jackson, which people don't know who he is, but
T-Jack.
a bunch of good people that work hard and trying to leave where you came from a little bit better than when you got there. And
Yeah, my boy talking about the original D-boys, okay? The Walter Thurmans, the Patrick Chungs, the TJ Wards, the Titus Jacksons, the Talmadge Jackson, the Anthony Gill, Jay Bird, Willie Glasper.
Jay Bird.
For those that, I'm sure everyone knows, but for those that don't know, I came in as a DB. So I was in the room with JB and all these other cats. Those guys really laid the foundation for what Oregon eventually became. And speaking about Oregon, JB, I got to get your opinion. I got to get your opinion on, this secondary, on this defense, and what you think about them so far.
Oh, I think the whole team. I think obviously we got playmakers back there that compete, right? They compete, and I love the fact that they're going up and competing for the ball in the air. It's my pet peeve when DBs just, let the wideout catch it and then they tackle them. So they're going up there, they're competing when the ball's in the air. And Jabbar Muhammad is phenomenal, and I love the intensity. And I think that comes from, the defensive coordinator, Tosh. I remember the first interview I watched of that guy. His neck is like the size of an ice chest. He might eat you.
My name is Tosh, and I love football.
He'll eat you as an appetizer. So, and then you talk about the head coach, Dan Lanning. The energy and the intensity and the desire, right? The passion. I think X's and O's are important, but what's more important is the character of the guys that are out on that field and the energy and that flying around like a band of brothers. So I love what's going on. I think as soon as they hired that guy, Coach Lanning, I knew that we were going to be competitive, and the recruiting that they're doing right now is phenomenal. So it's exciting and it's fun, and it's nice to see, Oregon back competing with the best.
Going back to Dan Lanning and just how special he is. And what makes Dan special is that he's just himself, authentic. He is not nothing else.
I remember a story back when he first got the job, or a couple months afterwards. Some email got circulated about wanting to get some of the players on a Zoom call, and I'm like, "What is this all about? Some Zoom call?" And Dan Lanning showed up. Hopefully, he doesn't. If he ever sees this, he doesn't get mad at me. But he had back underneath his eyes. Guy looked tired, man. He looked tired. Like, have you slept in the last month? And he said, I just got off the recruiting trail. I've been on for 30, 35 days or whatever it's been. But I want to make time to let you guys know that you're a part of the makeup of this program, and we want you guys back around.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? This guy's a winner. This guy right here gets it. One, he's a grinder. Number two, he wants to get everybody back involved, which obviously there's a lot of reasons why that's beneficial for a program's success. But I said, this guy right here, and it was just right about the same time, I think, that USC hired that guy down there. And I said, you know what? I take my guy every day. This guy right here is a winner. And that's the type of guy you want to lead a team and lead an organization, a grinder and someone that's genuine and real. And it's pretty cool to see what he's doing with the program.
Listen, I'm proud of you, bro. I love you. I love the man that you are today. I love the man that that sat here and gave these answers, answered these questions, and provided these kids, and not only kids, but grown men, an opportunity to hear your story and have something to kind of look to as a reference point for what it looks like to overcome. So kudos to you, bro. Much love. Thanks for coming on. And hopefully we talk to you again soon. Let's dive into these Unis, Stu. This is going back to your time. This is going back to your time over in the big house. So tell me what you think about these Warp Speed Generation O Unis.
Man, look, I'm going to just keep it 100. These boys spoiled, man. Spoiled, rotten.
I want to be spoiled.
I want to be spoiled too.
Pick me.
But the thing is, the crazy thing is, back when I was playing, dog, we had the uniforms, we had the changes.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like we were spoiled because we were.
Yeah.
We were. Now, they are just like rotten.
But here's the thing. I can't.
But I love it.
I can't, because we were spoiled during my time. We were riding.
Oh yeah.
We were riding.
Oh yeah, you definitely was riding.
Hold on.
You still
hold on.
riding.
Stop putting so much emphasis on that. Wait a minute. I've had to ask
Oh,
you this
sorry,
too
man.
many
Let me
times
check
during this
myself.
episode, Stu. What are we doing?
Let me
What are we doing?
man,
Uh-oh.
look, I'm gonna tell you, these uniforms are special, bro.
Yeah.
Like the all whites.
I think collectively this might be the dopest collection of uniforms that Oregon has had.
Hopefully when Michigan sees these boys come out in these uniforms, they're gonna have a flashback. Right? They're gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, I've seen this before. Oh yes, you have, my friend.
Well, listen, you led me right into what I want to ask you about. What do you remember about playing at the big house?
Oh man, it was a time, bro. I remember that year we had this hammer. It was basically just like, hey, we coming here to tear up y'all house.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, going to the big house, the flight, I remember how long it was. It was like it was our longest flight, right? And just the preparation through that week, being in the Mo and having all the noise, the speakers, the volume so loud, and just preparing ourselves to be in a noisy environment. And when we got out there, bro, our goal was to make that place quiet.
Make it church. The pastor is preaching.
Yeah, shh.
The baby's sleeping.
Ducks are ministering to us right now.
The baby's sleeping. Don't make no noise. Be quiet. The baby's sleeping.
No, man, but it was loud in the very beginning, bro, because they had just came off of losing to App State. And
I remember that.
They had something to prove. So they had this whole, I remember watching them warm up. I remember seeing, who was that? Mike Hart, running back. Like I kind of wanted to go over there and dap him up, but he kind of looked at me, had this like exchange with eyes. And he just looked at me like, nah, I ain't messing with you.
Cool. Say less. Say less. Now I know what time we on.
But obviously I know, you know what that vibe is.
Yeah.
Like you got to protect your process for a game. And basically I felt their process was, nah, that's the enemy.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all
Rightfully
still
so.
the enemy,
Rightfully
but I was
so.
just going to dap you up.
Yeah, nah, ain't no dap. Ain't no dap. See, you too nice.
But it was probably like in the first quarter, bro, that thing was silent.
Y'all was torturing them boys. Listen, y'all was torturing them boys out there. Y'all was it was embarrassing. That was an embarrassing game. And as as Oregon was coming onto the scene, I was watching these games a little bit. I'm watching this game like, this is not supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
Like this is Michigan.
I mean, everything that we did and wanted to do,
you did.
We did it.
Absolutely.
And it worked.
Yeah.
No question about it. And it was like, for me, it was watching Chip Kelly, like basically
dial it up.
He was like a puppet.
Boy.
He was like a puppet up there in the box, just, I'm going to do this and do that. And the Statue of Liberty play will work and we'll do it twice.
Yeah. So listen, how does Oregon's O-line match up against this Michigan defensive line? Michigan has given up 101 yards per game on the ground. They give up 230 yards through the air. Again, being able to see this team up close and personal and watching what Washington was able to do against this team, I think this game looks much like these last two games have looked like. I think Oregon dominates this game. Michigan is a one-dimensional team this year. They don't have any faith. I got to stop saying so much. Anyway.
Yeah.
Mid-show freestyle. Stop. Come on, let's get don't get me going. I believe this game looks much like these last couple of weeks of look. It's obviously better competition, but Michigan is so one-dimensional. It's really scary how one-dimensional they are. They don't have any belief in their quarterback. Over these past couple of weeks, nothing has changed from when they played Washington, and I was there to see it. I think we do great against them. I think our defensive line dominates. I think our offensive line dominates. I think we blow this team out, and we should. This is another one of those games where we should go in, take care of business, and really put this game away early because all they have is a running game. That's literally it. And I don't think their defense is that good. I mean this respectfully in the most disrespectful way that I can. Michigan is trash. Michigan's awful. I'm gonna just say it. They have good pieces. They're trash. They're awful. I love both of their running backs. I do. But as a whole, put them as a whole, Stu, put them in a glad bag, put them over your shoulder, and throw them down the trash chute. Going to the big house is not an easy feat. It's not something that teams go. A lot of teams are not successful. So since the 2020 COVID season, Michigan has only lost one home game. They lost to Texas earlier this year, 31-12, but they only have one loss. So they're a good team at home.
I don't care.
It's gonna be 2. It's gonna be 2. That's what we think about it. I don't care. I don't care what you've done in the past. You haven't played anybody, and so the storm that is brewing down in Eugene, that's going to travel up north, and the eye of the storm that's going to sit over the big house is going to destroy them. It's going to leave them feeling empty, feeling as if nothing. What hope do we have? Your home will be destroyed. So it's that time of the show. It's the funnest part for us. It's what we're best at. It's time for us to pick. The line is 15.5, J. Stu. Over or under? I'm going to jump this one off. We're going over.
Okay.
We're going over. We're going over.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally, you've come to the dark side.
But, you know,
the good side.
I've been tempted. You know, but I wanted to stay on that side of the street.
Stay from that dark side, though. You don't want to mess with them.
See, I'm not talking about that, Stu. Don't take us somewhere else. Don't take my hand and guide me somewhere else.
I'm so good at just going left field.
Yes, you are. I need you.
So you're gonna take Oregon 15 over.
Yes.
I love that.
Definitely. I absolutely. I think we have a field day against this team because, again, listen, they're trash.
They ain't gonna be able to score.
They might get on the board. I expect them to, but they're trash. You know, it's, listen. 2 things I ain't never seen: a turtle with speed and a Michigan team that was gonna beat Oregon. Okay, and that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. No.
So what are you saying? Over or under?
Over. Absolutely. I think we beat these guys by at least 31. At least.
You in deep thought. I mean, you meant that.
Yeah, and especially, you know, we're gonna start fast, and it's gonna be quiet again, and we're just gonna keep doing work. Whatever the Wolverine is, they ain't gonna be that. I can tell you that.
Ain't no Wolverine. Listen, any other thoughts before this game, Stu?
Man, I hope Noah Whittington does that every single game for the rest of the year, giving him that bow. I need that every game. Do not let up. If you have an opportunity one-on-one where you can do that to a guy,
set the tone.
Please do it. And then Jordan James, continue doing what you're doing, and you do the same. Kenjon Sadiq, you keep on going out there and showing out, man.
Yeah.
You putting the world on notice of who you are. So just continue thriving in defense. Just go out there and make it do what it do.
Yeah.
They ain't supposed to score on y'all until the 4th quarter. That's got to be the mindset.
They can't touch us. They can't handle us.
Can't touch this. Dum, 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 dum. Can't touch it. Dum, 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 dum. Hammer time. Oh. Hey, you know, MC Hammer, one of them guys that you're not supposed to play with.
There's something wrong with us, okay? Well, listen, that's all we got time for today. Again, it's been fun, per usual. I love you, Stu.
Love you too.
And remember, ducks of a feather flock together. Till next time, baby.